How's everybody doing? How's it going? Welcome to another Wired for Crappie Live. I'm waiting on my screen to catch up. It always takes 30 seconds, 45 seconds to catch up. We'll catch up in a minute. Hope everybody's doing well. October the 7th. All right. Who do we got tonight? Got to sleep? What's going on, man? Long time no talk. Dr. Jack, hello. Guys, don't forget, when you get on, drop me a hello. Tell me where you're from. Roger K says, hey, Matt, how's it going? It's going well. Going real well. Busy night. Or busy day, I guess. Just got home probably an hour ago. Jumped in the shower, created the live. Here we are. So it was a long day. I was out most of the day. Ashley Coffee, what's going on? Jimmy Pratt, hello. Blake, what's up? Dustin Adams, hello. Terry Davis, what's going on, man? Josh Sanders, what's going on? Good evening. Heidi Clark, how's it going, Heidi? Hope you had a good week. Jason Story from Rutledge. He just came from the lake. You guys are lucky. Y'all get to fish on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. I don't get to do that. I got to work. It stinks. I'd like to fish every day, but I don't get to. Daryl Quarles from Birchwood. What's going on, Daryl? Stephen A., what's going on, man? North Carolina, Dustin Shepard, what's up? Dustin, are you glad deer season's open? I see that deer you're holding every week. Deer season is here. So is fall crappie fishing, which is just as good as deer hunting, in my opinion. That stuff on my shirt. Slab Buster, what's happening, man? Terry Davis, first time I've got to the live, usually after the fact. Well, Terry, I'm glad you made it this time, buddy. Welcome, welcome. Jason Story, if I didn't say hello, hello, sir. Todd Pell from Ohio, what's going on? Grant Bailey, what's up? Trent Huber said, evening, good video this week. Yeah, thank you, Trent. I thought it went well. I didn't catch any big fish, but, that wasn't the point of the video. The point of the video was to show you guys live scope, let you guys see what I'm seeing on the screen, let you guys see the fish react to the bait, and then just, what a bite looks like on the screen. So anyway, I think if you watch, there's some very subtle things in that video that we're going to talk about a little bit tonight. Some very subtle things from the fish and things that I did that were really, I don't know, you guys may have caught them, you may not have caught them. But when I sat down and I started reviewing the footage and going back and watching it and editing it and cutting it and all that good stuff, I'm thinking I was actually watching the fish more than I was my bait. And I'm thinking, wow, that was pretty cool. So anyway, we're going to get into that a little bit later. But it's good stuff. It really is. And to be honest with you, I think I'm going to video my live scope more and sit there, not solely for the purpose of putting videos out for you guys. Yes, I'm going to put videos out for you guys, but I think I'm going to start recording it a little bit more and watching it myself, just sitting down and watching it, because I learned a lot. that I didn't see while I was on the water because I was so busy watching my bait and watching the fish and, where my bait was falling. Watching some of the fish my bait wasn't falling to when I was editing was really cool, and I learned a lot. So anyway, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Let's see. Steven said, I'm holding my deer too. Yeah. Blake Hawk, don't forget the thumbs up. Yeah, guys, smash that like button. Evening, good. Let's see, Trent. I already got that one. Dustin said, just torn between fishing or hunting now. Trent Huber. This week, my fish have been very spooky. I've not encountered this very often. Is there something else to try? Trent, let's table that one for just a minute, okay? I'll come back to it. That's going to be kind of wrapped into what I'm going to talk about this evening. So very good question, but let's table that one for just a minute and we'll come back, okay? Yeah. You're about the 367th person that's told me that. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, before you record live scope again, clean your screen. Look, my screen wasn't clean, okay? Whoop-dee-dee-doo. I mean, I get it. You can still see, but I get it. All right. I'll clean the screen. Sorry it wasn't perfect, Chris. Jimmy says, I'm holding my ACC crappie rod. Yep. Mine's right here behind me. I got a new one that I'm going to be trying, and I'm going to like it, I think. So I got the 6-footer in. Let me grab it. Oh, I'm getting old. Oh, if I don't break it on the ceiling. So I got my 6-footer in. That's the 6-foot ACC crappie stick, and I can't wait to get it on the water. 6-foot, 2-piece. I'm excited. I've been using a 6.5, but I think I will. I've always used 6-foot rods in the past, which you guys know, and I went to a 6.5, which I love the 6.5. Absolutely love the 6.5 for fish and brush because it gives me a little bit more line that I can swing when I'm pitching. You guys know I like to pitch. So it gives me a little bit more clearance with line over the water with a 6.5 footer. But I think I'm going to still like the 6-footer for dock shooting. So we'll see. We're going to put that to the test and do a video on that. You guys will get to see that. Real quick, I want to share the discount codes with you guys because I typically do that at the end of the lives, and a lot of people miss them. So I want to share. We got about 40 people on right now. I want to share those discount codes with you. So if you're going to order Bonehead Tackle, guys, Crappie 2020 on boneheadtackle.com gets you 15% off, okay? Crappie 2020. Fishing Specialties, if you're looking for a live scope pole, Fishing Specialties, Wired, W-I-R-E-D. Call Mike at Fishing Specialties. Tell him you want the Wired discount. You'll get 10% off on your pole, okay? Crappie Cove, right there. Bow. Crappie Cove in Maryville, Tennessee. Crappie Cove. It's inside Gunny's in Maryville, okay? If you go in there and you tell them you want the Wired discount, they're going to hook you up with 10%. All right, they've got all the good stuff. They've got Jiffy Jigs, Bonehead Jigs, Crappie Magnets, ACC rods, B&M rods, Ozark rods. They've got amped batteries. They've got, they've got it all. They're loaded to the gills and ready for you to show up and buy some stuff. So, Wired there gets you 10% off at Gunny's, okay, or at Crappie Cove in Gunny's. So I just want to go through those real quick. I always kind of do that at the end. And a lot of people miss it because they sign off early. So I wanted to do that early. Appreciate you guys for supporting those companies and supporting Crappie Cove and Bonehead. They're great baits, ACC crappie rods. They're great rods. I just recently, as everybody knows, I got asked again this week why I switched from Ozark to ACC. The reason I switched from Ozark to ACC is ACC's vision lines up almost parallel to where we're trying to go, where the channel's trying to go, and they make a great product. Okay, they make a great rod. I'm really excited. I love the rods. I love the action, the backbone, and everything with their rods. Every one I've put in my hand, it feels great. It's lightweight, and it's a good product. So, and where they're going is where we're going. So it just worked out. But anyway, you can get ACCs at Crappie Cove. And if you're not in Maryville, you can call Gunnies. You can call them and tell them, hey, I want this, I want that, I want the wire discount, and they'll ship it to you. Okay. So there's those. Let's see. I've missed a bunch of comments here. Let me look. Trent, do not let me forget to come back to the spooky comment. Okay. Chris said that's what friends are for, to call you out in public. Yeah, well, that's true. Slapbuster says, did I mention clean your screen? Listen, I got young eyes. I'm good. I'm good to go. And my screen's clear. Did y'all notice that? My screen's clear. I like it. Other than the water spots, I got a good picture. So I like it. Jason said, Matt, I don't deer hunt. I don't deer hunt is how I'm able to fish for the evening. And fish have been hit and miss this week from Cherokee. I don't know about anyone else. From Cherokee Lake? Yeah, well, that's another part of, well, that's actually kind of last week's conversation, Jason, excuse me. So last week we talked about turnover, right? And we said turnover's happening, and it's probably going to last for 2 or 3 weeks before the lakes turn over and they settle back out. And it's going to be hit and miss. There's going to be a lot of lethargic fish. There's going to be a lot of, I'm not going to call them confused fish, but there is going to be a lot of fish that are just kind of lethargic and off, and they're going to look at a bait and they're just going to kind of shy away from it. Everything in their world's turning over right now, and they're waiting on it to get right. So next couple weeks is probably going to be a little off. You can still catch fish, and a lot of fish, but it'll be off compared to what it was a month ago when the water was stable. Water is just not stable right now with turnover. Hello, Harold Stamey. Welcome. Matthew Kofelt. Did I say that right? Ryan Kofelt. I hope I said that right, from Decatur. What's going on, buddy? What's up? Dustin says he loves his 6.5-foot ACC. Chad says watching from Lindale, Texas. Asleep, he says, state finals for crappie anglers of Texas this weekend, Friday and Saturday. And guess what? A hurricane is coming through on Friday. Got any tips? Woo! Don't get blown away. Stay on the upwind side of the lake and try to find fish. There's my tips. No, protected coves, out of the wind. Like I said, the stay on the upwind side of the lake, because it is going to be windy, and when that hurricane goes through, it's still going to be windy. So I'd look for those wind protected areas. I'd look for structure fish in those areas. Probably going to be suspended fish, because there'll probably be some fluctuation with that much rain coming in. There'll be some fluctuation in water. So it'll push the fish out, kind of suspended. They'll suspend in stable water. And then if it muddies up, they'll go shallow. So if the lake muddies up with the rain, they'll go shallower. If it doesn't muddy up, they're going to sit out and suspend in open water, in stable water, until the front goes through. So I'd probably look out in more stable water that's not going to get a cold or hot rain, whichever one's coming in from the hurricane. And they're probably going to suspend in that mid-range. If you're in 20, they'll probably be suspended at 10. If you're in 30, they'll be suspended at 15, so on and so forth. Be my guess. The little tributaries and creeks, they're coming out of those because that's going to get the most fresh water. Rusty Prophet, what's up? Jody Gazaway, hello. Let's see. Jody says, do you think it's worth buying a fish finder on Facebook Marketplace? Yeah, I've bought several off Facebook myself. I've just, when you're talking to somebody, Jody, I always do PayPal. I do not send checks. I do not send cash. I'm rather meeting somebody, okay, or I'm sending them PayPal. And if they say, hey, I don't want to pay a fee, well, then I'll pay the fee. I generally, you can Google what the PayPal fee is, and it's a certain percentage. And if they want $200, say, don't worry about it. I'll pay the fee. I'll send you $200 in black, and you can pay the fee for them, and you still got to guarantee that you're going to get your stuff. And if you don't get your stuff, or they send you a box with a 4-pound rock in it, then you can go back to PayPal and say, hey, look, this is what I got. They didn't send me what I was supposed to get. I want a refund, and they'll take the money back and give you your money back. So, you just have to be cautious about who you're talking to, Jody. And generally, I do not do it through Messenger. I will say that. I want a phone number. So if I find somebody on Facebook and they say, hey, yeah, I've got this and it's $175, and I'm like, or $575 or $1,075, whatever it is. I say, yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about it. Can I get your phone number? And I will call and talk to them. Generally, after talking to somebody, you can wade through the, for lack of better terms, BS. and you can tell if they're for real or not. So anyway, that's how I buy off Facebook Marketplace. And yes, I have bought several off Facebook Marketplace. Robert, hello from Harrison, Arkansas. My lake is dropping and fish are moving up shallow, but lake is not turning over. Will it? Some lakes will not, because some lakes, it just depends on the average depth of your lake. Is there a thermocline that sets up in your lake, and so on and so forth. So I don't know what lake you're fishing, Robert. In Harrison, Arkansas, I couldn't even begin to guess. Where's that at? West of Mississippi, west of Tennessee. What lake would that be? I don't know. I'm not sure. Not every lake is going to turn over with a thermocline and that sort of thing. So it just depends what lake you're fishing. And like I said, the average depth of the lake. I guess I need to reiterate that. There'll still be a turnover, Robert. Let me go back. There'll still be somewhat of a turnover, but if you're on a real shallow lake, it's going to happen so quick, it's not going to affect you. Does that make sense? Because there's still layers of water, and as surface temperatures cool, they're still dropping. But if you're on a real shallow reservoir that, doesn't have a thermocline and doesn't set up deep layers of stagnant dead water, then it's not going to affect you as much. Because you may have a lake that turns over in a week where ours take 3. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Pratt said, have a big anchor, Chris. Dustin, you were right. Fish were lethargic this week. Went Sunday, caught 10 in an hour. and a half, but they were slow to bite and looking at bait a lot and not biting. So, yep, that's indicative of a turnover, fall turnover. Slab, Sarge, bring your rain clothes. My tip, lots of laughs. I fished a lot in the rain. Hey, I prefer to fish in the rain. I love fishing in the rain. Some of my best fishing's been done in the rain. So don't think you can't go catch fish on rainy days, because fish will bite when it's raining, I assure you. Matthew, you said right. Caught my limit on Watts Bar last weekend under deep docks with the moon dust stump bug. Glad I could help. Glad you caught a limit. Sometimes I get it right. Every once in a while. It's not often, but every once in a while I get it right, Matthew. Nice name, too. I'm just saying. Matthew's a good name. I don't know why I think that. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know. Yee. Chris said lightning's not okay. Rain's okay, lightning's not. That won't hurt you long. It's like a bee sting, Chris. Not gonna hurt you. You'll be all right. Tyler Key, good evening. The fish was still deep on Watts Bar for you, Matt? Question mark. I guess were the fish still deep? Some of them were. I found fish. Be honest, I found fish everywhere I went. Just a lot of small fish. You know, Watts Bar. Watts Bar is normally a big fish lake, but I think it's on a cycle that's just got a lot of those small fish in it. And I found fish all over the lake. I found fish shallow. I found fish deep. I found fish really deep. I found them in the mid ranges. I mean, I found a lot of fish. I think we caught, let's see, I fished Saturday. We caught 64. Caught 64 fish Saturday. And probably half and half, keepers to non-keepers. So something like that, probably 50-50. Justin, I have a live scope and boat is 20 inches deep. The live scope pole I've been looking at is 32 inches. My trolling motor shaft is 48 inches. Would you just go with the 32 inch to have more room in the boat? Justin, I don't know what live scope pole are you looking at. If it were me, Justin, I don't know what boat you're fishing out of, but I would look at the fishing specialties pole. Okay, www.fishingspecialties.com. I would get the 48-inch fishing specialties pole. That's just my opinion. That's what I use is the fishing specialties pole. I fish out of a 690 VS. It's a Ranger 690 VS. It's a 96 model. It is a deep V boat. It is it's designed for offshore fishing, and that's what I like to do. So I would go with their pole. That's just my opinion. I would still go with the 48-inch. If you call Mike and he says, "Oh, you don't need the 48-inch," tell him you want it anyway. Because it's nice to have that length so that when you're standing in your boat, which I like to stand, when you're standing in your boat, you've got the handle high enough that you can reach down and turn it comfortably. Okay. So 48-inch pole would be my recommendation. And if you're going to get the fishing specialties pole, go with the 18-inch handle. The 18-inch handle is not on their website. You have to request it. Request the 18-inch handle. Okay, it comes up, sticks out just a little more, but it's a lot easier for you to reach and maneuver around, and so on and so forth. So, 48-inch pole, 18-inch handle would be my opinion. All right, Josh Sanders. Speaking of clear live scope picture, can you quickly run through your wiring setup? Well, no. Do I do anything quickly, Josh? Do I answer anything quickly? No. All right. So, quickly run through your wiring setup. Do you have any other wires running close by that could give interference? I have same setup as you and have nowhere near the same picture. Yeah, sure. So my live scope wiring setup, I did not add one single wire. Okay, not one single piece of wire did I add to the factory wiring cables. The factory wiring cable from the power cable from my unit and the power cable to my black box. I did not add any wires to those at all. None. Zero, zilch, nada. The only thing I added to those factory wires was the little end connector, the butt connector. I'll get it in a minute. The butt connector that hooks to the battery is the only thing I added to the wiring that came straight from the factory. Okay. That wire, my unit wire and my black box wire, go directly to my battery and get plugged in directly to the 30 amp hour lithium from Amped Outdoors. Okay. Do I have any other wires running close by? No. Nope. I isolated all of my live scope battery or all of my live scope wires to themselves. I mean, there's not anything anywhere close to them. So in my boat, some boats you can't do that, but in my boat, I was able to go right down through the front of the boat and straight down my gas tank is in the front of the boat under the front deck is where my gas tank is. I was able to go right across the top of the gas tank into my extra compartment, and I put everything right there. So I have no other wires anywhere near my live scope wiring. But I do have the black box wiring and the unit wiring that are all right there together. So there's no interference coming from either one of those that I've seen. But that's how I have my wiring set up. Justin, very good question. Is perspective mount worth the money? For crappie? No. No, for crappie, maybe if you were a bass guy and you were fishing real shallow all the time and you wanted to be able to scan shallow bays or something of that nature or look for beds, maybe. But for a crappie fisherman that mostly fishes offshore or docks, anything, more than 5 feet of water, no, it's really not. I did experiment with perspective a little bit, and it's just not. It's if you've ever seen Humminbird 360, it's basically what it is, except for little dots move across the screen, and you can't see your bait. You can see little dots move, but you can't see your bait. So anyway, my opinion is no. I'm not sure if I'm getting interference from trolling motor wires. They are running close by. Try to pull them away if you can, Josh. Try to pull everything away from your trolling motor if possible. Dustin Adams says, white and chartreuse stump bug on deep brush panned out on Norris today. Well, there you go. Norris is yeah, congratulations. You caught fish on Norris. That's That's a chore. People don't realize that's a little bit of a chore. Catch fish on Norris. Norris is a tough lake. I've caught fish on Norris, but I've only fished it once. So it's not my first choice of lakes, that's for sure. But there are crappie in Norris. Jason said, "Don't take." I'm thinking that's don't take your kids fishing when there's a chance of rain. Poured down on him one night and he lost his fishing partner. That's pretty funny. Now, I try not to take my kids unless it's going to be perfect weather. Rusty says, "Hey Matt, if you're fishing Douglas this weekend, I would like to tag along and learn how you catch them this time of year." So Rusty is saying that because we have a tournament next weekend on Douglas Lake. So will Matt be fishing Douglas this weekend? That is yet to be seen because there's a hurricane that's supposed to be coming right through or right down our throat. And I don't know if I'll fish Douglas or not, but if I do, I will not be calling Rusty Prophet. So, and I will not be videoing it for my YouTube channel. It will be between me and Douglas Lake. Okay? So, I don't know if I'll be out there or not. I really don't. I don't know what this weather's going to do. And I've been fishing Douglas for years, so I'm not overly concerned about going up there right now. I know they're catching fish up there right now, and I don't know. We'll see. Oh, your wife fishing. Okay. Jason said don't take your wife fishing in the rain. No, I won't. Trust me. Kip says he runs his 1022 and black box on a 30 amp hour amped lithium, zero problems. Justin, you're welcome. So, Josh Sanders, turn your color gain up and regular gain down. Good place to start. So let's talk about that a minute. And Kip, don't take this the wrong way, buddy, but I have been running pretty much my color gain is on default, and I guess you guys saw it on the video. My color gain's on default, and my regular gain is on auto medium. So let's talk about that. And Kip, again, don't take this the wrong way, okay? Garmin has very good people that they pay a lot of money to basically build and set up all the technology that's in these units. All right. I can tell you right now, if you go messing with the color gain and you go messing with the gain and you try to set all that stuff by yourself, you are going to get all kinds of funky stuff on your unit. I'm going to tell you it's going to happen because it's almost like the unit just goes into, oh my God, overload. And it just, okay, they're moving this way, they're moving that way, they're moving the color gain here, they're moving that gain here, they're going up, they're going down. Every time you change depths, it changes. Every time the silt content changes, it just, I'm telling you, I have been running default on color gain and auto medium on my gain, and every time I put that live scope in the water, it is clear and you can see what you're looking at. You can identify the brush and you can identify the fish, just like you guys saw in the video. So I've actually Because when I first got my live scope, I would play with my gain. And when I went shallow, I'd turn it down. When I went out deeper, I'd turn it up. And I'd really play with it and get the grains and the grain to take the grain out of it, put some grain in it, so on and so forth. You guys have seen all the videos about it. I don't have to keep going, but I'm telling you, Garmin has some very good tech people. And that auto medium on the gain and the default on color gain gives you a pretty daggum good picture, guys. It really does. I mean, it does in East Tennessee for me. You guys saw it live on a video. So, you know, for what that's worth, Josh, if you hadn't tried that, try it. Reset. First of all, Josh, reset your unit to factory defaults, okay? Auto medium on your gain, default on your color gain, and then just adjust your depth and your forward view. Okay, that's it. Depth and forward view. See what that does for you. Yeah. Let's book a guide trip for Douglas, Josh says. Well, my calendar's blocked off for those days, buddy. Y'all think I don't catch on to what y'all are trying to do? I got you. I'm catching on quick. I'm a fast study. That's funny. William says, hey from Chicago. Can't fish right now. Had rotator cuff surgery. Well, I hope you get feeling better. I hope that rotator cuff gets better. My only fun is watching your videos. Have to live vicariously. Thanks for getting me through invaluable for when I get live scope. You're welcome. You're welcome, William. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I hope your rotator cuff surgery, I hope all that that's shoulder, right? Rotator cuff. Hope that gets better soon, buddy. Trent Huber says, brush pile question. You see better results from more natural brush piles, trees, branches, or say PVC made piles? Well, Trent, are you talking just numbers of fish? Or are you talking big fish? I mean, what are you talking? Because generally natural stuff that's real thick as far as trees, you see more numbers of fish from those. But then your smaller, sparser covers, you're going to see like your PVC poles and your bamboo piles and your stake beds and things like that. You're going to see larger fish from those sparser piles, but you're not going to see the quantity there. So that's what I see as far as that's concerned. Josh says, what version software are you running? I don't have an auto medium setting that I saw. I had your live scope video up in the boat yesterday. You should have an auto medium, Josh. I think everybody should, actually. I think there should be auto medium on your unit. I don't know what unit you're running, but it should have an auto medium, auto high, and auto low. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge later. You can call me or whatever, and we'll figure that out. But my software version, I believe, is 9.2. 9.2, I believe, is my software. Better holding quality. Yep, your sparser stuff is going to hold quality. So let me go back up here. So let's talk about this question Trent asked, and let's talk about a little bit of what I saw in my live scope video when I went back and watched it. Okay, so first of all, Fish have been very spooky. I have not encountered this very often. Is there something else to try? So hang on, Trent. I'll be right back with you. Josh Sanders, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the help. If you have the SD card with that version downloaded, bring it to Douglas and let me use it. Prefer waypoints included. Yeah, well, I don't have any waypoints on my live scope. They're all on my Lowrance, buddy. So I'm sorry, but you're out of luck there. But I don't know if I have that version or not. I'll check and see. But thank you for the super chat. Guys, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the live, right down the bottom underneath the comment box, there's a little $sign. That is a super chat button. If you don't mind and you want to donate to the channel, click on that super chat button. It'll walk you through how to donate. Guys, everything that comes in through the channel goes right back into crappie fishing. It goes right back into keeping me on the water and producing great content for you guys to watch, unlikable content for you guys to enjoy. So thank you, Josh. I appreciate the super chat very much. And thank you. And you're not getting my waypoints. That's funny. All right. So let's go back, Trent. Spooky fish. You know, when I went back and I watched my live scope video, and I'm talking watched the entire thing from recording my live scope, I saw a lot of fish that were very skittish. And I saw a lot of fish that would see a bait and run from it, almost like they just didn't want to be bothered. They just didn't want to, they didn't want anything coming in their area. And I think it had a lot to do, again, with turnover. I think turnover is a factor in what I was seeing. I think there was a lot of fish that would come up and swat at the bait and not really get it. They'd swat at it. And I think you guys probably saw that because a lot of the stuff that I put, a lot of the catches that I put on the video, you saw fish swipe at the bait before I actually caught one. But they would not swipe at the bait and stay there with the bait. They would swat at the bait and run, 20 feet across the screen. And it's like, good Lord, where'd that fish go? I mean, what's he scared of? I think that has a lot to do with them just being negative. The fish just being real negative. They're reacting out of a reaction. I mean, you're getting a reaction strike is what you're getting. That's just a natural reaction. That's why when you fish with crankbaits, you get those reaction strikes, and a lot of times you'll catch those fish with a treble hook outside the mouth, even catch them in the back or in the chin, underneath the chin a lot of times, because you're just getting a reaction strike out of those fish. And I caught a couple on the lake the other day or Saturday that I caught under the lip, under the chin. They just would swat at a bait, and I'd set the hook and just happened to hook them under the chin. I caught a couple in the cheek on the outside of the mouth. So I think, in my opinion, that's just the fish being negative, the fish not really wanting to eat, but they see a bait and they can't help but react to it. So you're getting that reaction strike. And once you get that and they get up there to the bait and they strike at it, they're running from it because they don't really want it. So they're running up there and they're striking at it and they're just turning and running off. That's my opinion of what's happening. I could be wrong. I think that's you're going to see a light switch in that probably in the next week or two when the lake stabilizes and the fish start feeding again. But I do believe that's just pure reaction that you're getting out of those fish. They see the bait, they react to it, and then they're gone because they were just reacting out of instinct. But they're very spooky because Halloween's right around the corner, and they got ghosts and goblins and all kinds of stuff down there. They're just scaring them to death. The Freddy Krueger's coming out of the bottom of the lake, and Bigfoot and everybody else. So, they're a little bit concerned right now. That's what I believe is happening. Anyway, no, I do think that it's just pure reaction that you're getting out of those fish, and then they're just taking off because they really weren't hungry. I mean, if the fish was hungry, he'd get the bait. Josh, ask for the waypoint where the 2.41 pounder he caught last Saturday is. Rusty, have you been talking to Scott Bunch? I think you've been talking to Scott Bunch. I think Scott Bunch maybe gave me away on that one. Okay. Jason, always remember to give Matt a thumbs up for what he provides for us every week. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you, buddy. Guys, if y'all don't care, smash that thumbs up. It lets people know that you like the content. It lets people know you like what Wired for Crappie's doing. The information that's on the live. It just lets people know that you like it, and it lets YouTube know that you like it. So if y'all don't care, smash that like button for me, please. Kevin LaRose, what's going on, Kevin? I fish Kentucky Lake, Paris Landing area usually. Go out around 5 a.m., fish till 11. That early, will fish be deep or shallow this time of year? They are going to be moving shallow, Kevin. You're a little further north than me. They're probably getting right about now. Kentucky Lake, there are some people that shoot docks on Kentucky Lake. But Kentucky Lake is generally all about the stake beds. There is a lot of stake beds. I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't know, Kevin. There's stake beds everywhere in Kentucky Lake. There's shallow ones, there's deep ones, there's mid-range ones. There's a lot of people that put their time in on Kentucky Lake. So look for some of them stake beds, buddy, and fish are going to start moving shallow. So probably 15 foot to 8 foot is probably going to be where you're going to want to start looking. Heidi said, well, it is October. That's right, Heidi. Fish are spooky because of all the ghosts and goblins and vampires and everything else that's running around. They're just a little skittish. It just kind of puts them on edge. Uncle Bill's Crappie Attitude. What's going on? What's up, man? So, yeah, guys, again, what I was seeing on my live scope was very interesting. I was very intrigued by it. And like I said, I'm probably going to record some more and go back and watch it and learn these fish, movements and try to understand how the fish, the different reactions that they have to the bait. And, the fish that I caught, there was no doubt they were going to bite. And just about everywhere I fished last weekend, just about every pile I fished had fish on it, and you'd always catch some off of it. You'd catch 2 here, 3 there, 4 here, 5 there. But there was just hundreds of fish on every pile, and some of them just wouldn't bite. So, people say all the time, live scope, it's like fishing a barrel with live scope. Well, maybe, but that doesn't mean they're going to eat. And it was not a matter of color. It was not a matter of baits. It was not a matter of profiles. I think I could have put a live minnow down there and they wouldn't have hit it. It's just some fish are going to be active and some fish aren't. And when you get this lull like we're in right now with turnover, it just is different. It's just a different type of fishing. And again, we had a good day. I mean, I caught 64 fish. I mean, come on. That's a decent day on the water, but it just, you pull up on some piles. 3 weeks from now, you pull up on one with 100 fish on it, you'll catch 60. It's just that's just the way it is. Hang on. Jason said, I think you're exactly right on them. They are not really wanting anything, no matter what you put in front of them, because tonight they love tap it instead of the thunderstruck hit they normally do. From everything that I've seen and from sitting back down and watching my footage and watching those fish react to the bait, that's what I've seen. That's just my conclusion after watching it. And what I should have done is brought some of that video and let you guys seen it on my live tonight. Maybe I'll do that next week. I'll bring some video and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. But it's something else that I noticed that was intriguing to me is if I would get one fish to come up to a bait with any kind of authority, not really just easing up to a bait. So, your bait's here and you get a fish that just kind of eases up to it like this and just kind of sits there and looks at it. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking if I could get a fish that bait's falling and he'd run up there like that towards that bait, whether he smacked at it or not, if I could get one to run out of the brush, I'd get 2 or 3 that would come with it. And a lot of times that first fish that would get to my bait would not strike it, but the 3rd or 4th fish that came up behind him would hit it. So I kind of concluded from that you're getting a reaction bite, or you're getting a reaction out of the first fish that sees the bait, and then he's running up, not really committing to it, but then when other fish, because fish compete for food, okay? When the other fish saw that fish run up, they would actually follow him, and you would get at least one that would commit. Kind of like, you're not going to get it before I do. Ha ha. When you're 3 years old. Or, well, you're not talking that good at 3, but when you're 8 and your buddy says, I'll get it before you, and you say, no, you won't. And you both take off across the front yard to the ice cream truck to get an ice cream. I kind of saw a lot of that this on live scope when I went back and watched. I saw a lot of fish that would turn, come towards the bait, and then the 3rd one in line would just annihilate it. The first 2 would just stop and look at it, and it's like, you joker. Again, that's indicative of just lethargic fish. It's just, the time of year, and I know I keep saying it, but the turnover and the time of year that we're in. But it's getting ready to kick off real. It's getting ready to get good. So anyway, don't get discouraged, I guess is what I'm going towards. Is if you're out there and you're seeing fish on your live scope, or you see fish on your depth finder and you're fishing, you're not catching anything, and you think, man, there was 50 fish on my down imaging and I caught 2. Man, this is horrible. Give it time, pump the brakes, move to another spot, go find you 2 more somewhere else. But don't get discouraged. There's a lot of fish still out there, and there's a lot of fish that are going to turn on as soon as everything regulates again. But I did like seeing all the fish that were on brush. There's a lot of fish that are pulling the brush, and there's a lot of fish that are setting up for a fall bite. And I think it's going to be a really, really good fall. I think there's going to be a ton of fish to be caught, especially in East Tennessee in the fall, that are legal size. All winter should be good. It's going to be real good this year, in my opinion, on all lakes in East Tennessee. Jason says, I tried minnows and jigs this evening, same from both. Just look at it. Just look at it, would you? Just look at it. You guys seen that on Facebook? Whatever. Look at it. Just look at it, would you? Look at it. Is that guy's name? I don't remember his name. So, anyway, let's talk colors. Best color by far was black and chartreuse. Black and chartreuse was definitely the best. Probably purple and chartreuse, stump bug was my second best. And then let's see, what other did we catch fish on? Let's see, I caught fish on black and chartreuse, pumpkin and or not pumpkin, I'm sorry, black and chartreuse, purple and chartreuse, and caught a few on moon dust. But black and chartreuse was by far the best color. Uncle Bill says, crazy weather pattern. Been on water all week. It has been kind of a crazy weather pattern. You know, it's kind of the first cold snap of the fall, real true cold snap. I mean, we had some East Tennessee anyway. We had some cooler temperatures earlier this fall, but this week was the real, I think, first dip that we've had. And, you know, that kind of slows everything down a little bit. But as we continue to have these snaps and we continue to get these cooler nights, everything's going to regulate out, guys, in the next couple of weeks. It really is. And I'm looking forward to it. I am a little concerned. Well, not concerned, but I am a little bit excited, I think, to see what this hurricane weather is going to do for us. I'm hoping that it's going to be a cool rain, because if it's cool rain, it's going to speed up this lull. And if it's a warm rain, it could extend it a little bit. I don't know. We'll see when it comes up through here. With the weather we've been having, it should be a cool rain, and it should set up, you know, really good for us. But we'll see. So line that I've been using, obviously, I've been using the bonehead braid. That's the 12-pound braid. I have not been tying a leader to that. I am probably going to experiment a little bit with going back to a leader on the braid and see, you know, exactly how if that enhances my catch ratio at all. I don't think that it's going to, but we'll see. I'm going to try it and we'll see what happens. Probably try some more fluoro and try some other things. I've had a lot of people ask me about fluorocarbon. So I'll probably try some fluorocarbon and see how I feel about that. I've been told that fluorocarbon, well, not told, but I've read and experimented and done everything else with braid and mono and fluoro. And fluorocarbon's kind of middle of the road between braid and mono. It's not as tough as braid, but it's tougher than mono. And obviously, it's less visible in the water than mono. The fluorocarbon is heavier than mono, so everything's going to sink a little faster. The reason fluorocarbon is heavier than mono is because everything is compressed a little bit more with fluorocarbon line. Everything's pressed. It's a little denser because it's pressed a little more, and therefore it's heavier and sinks more or faster. So that's the difference in braid, fluoro, and mono. Jason says, what time does Gunny's close? Blake, I'm not 100%. I can tell you in a second, though. So they close at 5. They're open Tuesday through Saturday. They're closed Sunday and Monday. They open at 10 and close at 5, Tuesday through Saturday. Yeah. So Crappie Cove at Gunny's is open 10 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday. Slab Buster says, caught some nice fish on docks on Neely Sunday. Brush piles was full of small ones. Uncle Bill says, I like 100% fluoro. I'm going to do some experimenting with it. I'm going to try some fluoro and see what my thoughts are on it. I don't have a whole lot to go off of right now. I've used fluoro. Obviously, you use fluoro a lot when you're trout fishing, because trout are line sensitive and you need something clear, so you use a clear fluorocarbon leader. And I've used it there. I've always caught fish with it, so we're going to fish with it a little bit and see. Josh Sanders, when you use the braid, did you say you'll spool with some mono about half and a spool, then add the braid to save some money? Yes, that's exactly what I do. I generally spool half my spool with 4-pound vicious, and then I spool the other half with the bonehead 12-pound braid. That way I'm not, because you won't break off braid a lot. I mean, you really won't. Most of the time you're going to straighten a hook out before you break it off. And if you do break it off, it's because you've nicked it somewhere along the way. But you're not going to eat through a lot of line off your spool like you will mono. You know, every time you get hung with mono, you're breaking, 8 foot, 10 foot, not all the time, but a lot of times you're breaking off a section of your mono. You're not going to do that with braid. Most of the time, if my braid breaks, it's at the loop, okay, at the jig. Jason says, need to stock up before the changeover comes. Well, you can stock up from Crappie Cove, I assure you. Stocking up is not a problem up there. Robert McMahon says, try K9 Fluoro. You mean, hang on. That 4-pound K9 high vis fluorocarbon. So we're going to try it and see. Review to come. Review to come. We'll see how I like it. I'm going to try it some, Robert. And I will let everyone know. Updates to come. TBD. Jason, my gosh, man. He says, Matt, I don't have any bonehead tackle. I've only been using Mr. Crappie. Sorry, would love to try them. Look, hey, there's a lot of good baits out there, guys. There really is. There's a lot of good baits out there on the market, okay? I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody's baits. I'm not going to, as you guys can see behind me, I have all kinds of different baits, and that's not even the beginning of it, all right? I've got all of them, okay? But I will say this. My go-to bait for crappie is that one right there. All these, okay? I just like a stump bug. There's been a lot of times when I've been on the water that they will not hit anything but a stump bug. And, I've been on the lake a lot of times with my fishing partner, okay? And we've been fishing, and he's throwing everything but. And I said, man, stump bugs and put it on. He's like, no, I'm trying other stuff. All right, I just lost my screen. I hope you guys didn't lose me. You still there? My screen went black. Sorry. All right, so anyway, I just said, man, put a stump bug on. He said, no, I'm not, no. And then about 10 fish later, he's like, all right, give me one. And then there's times when it's vice versa. There's times when he's catching them on a fly, and I'm like, forget this, give me a fly. So, there's a need to have an arsenal of baits. Do I have just stump bugs in my boat? No. Now I have slim sticks. I have bonehead slim sticks. I've got the 2 1/4. I've got the 3-inch. I've got the minnows. I've got the brush gliders. I've got other people's baits in my boat. I mean, look, I'm a tournament crappie fisherman. If I can't get them to hit a stump bug, I got to find something that they're going to hit, right? The fact of the matter is, you need to be versatile on the lake. You need to have multiple profiles, multiple colors, multiple baits, because you never know when they're not going to hit a stump bug. And if I can't get them to hit that stump bug, I'm going to find something they're going to eat, right? So Jason, to your point, you don't have any, get you some, try them, have them in the boat. You never know when you're going to need them. Chris says he's heading to bed. We'll see you later, Chris. Have a good one. All right, so I get a lot of questions. 4 or 5 colors. I think I've got asked like 10 times this week, actually. 4 or 5 different colors of stump bug that are my go-tos. So let me give you guys 4 colors that in East Tennessee, 4 colors that you generally can find fish that'll eat. 4 colors. If I had to pick 4 colors and only take 4 colors to the lake, what 4 colors would they be? I'll stay away from the pumpkin and chartreuse because it's no longer made by Bonehead, so I'll stay away from that one tonight. Everybody knows that's my go-to is pumpkin and chartreuse stump bug, but they're discontinued, and I have the last 20 packs or so that they had I bought. So there they are. Because that's actually my number one go-to is pumpkin and chartreuse. But for the sake of you guys not being able to buy those, I'll go with my other 4 colors. What do I have in my hand? Okay. That one and that one. All right, so if I had to pick 4 colors, I could only take 4 colors to the lake with me. What 4 colors would they be? Let's start with number 4. Number 4 would be purple and chartreuse. Okay, that would be my 4th pick. Sometimes it's your first pick. It just depends on what the fish want. Depends on watercolor, depends on depth you're fishing, depends on what the fish want. So contrasting colors, right? That everybody knows I believe in contrasting colors. Contrast the water. If you hadn't seen that, where I dip the water or dip the baits in different color waters, go watch that video because I believe in contrasting the water clarity more than I do actual color. Okay. And I explained that in that video. Number 3 would be white and chartreuse. Okay. Number 2 would be the moon dust, which is a very, very shad-like color. There is not any black on that. It's mostly well, you can see it. So the moon dust would be my number 2. And then always and forevermore until I quit crappie fishing, black and chartreuse, without a doubt. Black and chartreuse. Black contrasts any color water. Doesn't matter if it's tap water or pothole water, which is about as muddy and nasty as it gets. But doesn't matter. Black will contrast it, right? And chartreuse is known to get a reaction out of fish. The color chartreuse is known to get a reaction strike out of fish. So when you contrast the water and you pair that with your reaction bite, you catch fish. That's just the way it is. Black and chartreuse is my go-to. Anytime I'm struggling. Josh said it. Look, don't say pumpkin chartreuse. That's not available. Quit saying it. Josh knows. Look, I'm a flaunt them. Look. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's like trick or treat. That is my favorite. Makes me want to eat them. I like them. I like them a lot. I really do. Anyway. There you go. Those are my 4 colors. If I had to pick 4 to buy, it'd be black chartreuse, moon dust, white and chartreuse, and purple and chartreuse. No. Ashley and Josh, y'all are mistaken. Y'all are hearing stuff now. They said, I think Josh, Ashley said, didn't Matt say he would give us a pack for joining the club? Josh said, I think I remember that. I didn't get mine, did you? I'm just saying, I don't think I said that. Now, I don't know. The minute I say that, y'all go back and watch some old videos, and I did say it, but I don't think I remember saying that. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. If I did, I'll live up to it. I'll own up to it if I did, but I don't think I did. I think you're mistaken, guys. Maybe y'all dreamed that. I don't know. All right. Oh, where am I at? Jimmy, I fished with 2 stump bugs 16 inches apart this week on stake beds, blackened chartreuse and a moon dust, and they hit both. Well, that's because they're in my top 4, Jimmy. I just said that. Number 4 was the grapevine, Heidi. That was grapevine, purple and chartreuse. Bonehead does call that grapevine. Josh, what's crazy is the stump bug pumpkin chartreuse is so much different as far as color shading compared to the slim sticks and brush gliders I found and bought. Yes, it is, Josh, and that's why I bought every one of them. Y'all think I'm kidding. I'm dead serious. I called down to Bonehead and I got Jensen on the phone and I said, Jensen, how many you got? I want to know how many you got in the entire shop. Where are they at? How many you got? He said, I got this many. I said, I want every one of them. I don't care. I want them all. He said, seriously? And I said, I want them all. Y'all think I'm kidding. I'm dead serious. I bought every last one they had, and I put them right up there, and they're going to live right there until I use every single one of them. And when I use every single one of them, I'm going to cry. We're going to have a memorial service, and I promise you, I'm going to call, and I'm going to ask them if I pay $500, will they run them special for me? And if I have to pay for it, I will. If I have to buy the material and send it down there, I'd do it. I swear I would. That's probably the best color that I've ever caught or ever fished with. And I'm upset, and I'm still hurt that they don't make it anymore. It upsets me, and I'm mentally distraught because of it. And now I'm going on a tangent, but that's okay. I'm allowed one a show. Matt must have shipped them USPS. Yeah, they lost them in the mail, guys. I'm sorry. I can't risk it. I can't risk it anymore. I just can't. Josh said, I'll split the 500 with you. Yeah, I'm about to ask him. That it catches fish. It really does. All right, Jason said, what jig head do you use with the stump bug jigs? So good question, Jason. The jig head that I actually use, a double cross jig head from Crappie Magnet is the jig head that I prefer. And I'll tell you why I prefer that jig head. Because, first of all, that hook will bend, okay? So you can bend that hook. It's still a stout hook. You can catch those 2.5 pound fish with that hook and it won't bend out. But if you got to bend it out of, a brush pile or stake bed or something, you can bend that hook out. But the reason I fish mainly with this jig head is because of that right there. So you see those 2 barbs? Those barbs are very small compared to a barb. and it's double barbed on the sides, okay? It's not barbed on the front. So you can see, here's the back of the jig, here's the front of the jig, okay? There is no barb on the front and back. There's only barbs on the sides, okay? And they're very small barbs. So let me get another jig that has a larger barb, if I have one. I know I do somewhere around here. And get this out. Hang on, bear with me. All right, so I want you to look at the size of that barb compared to that barb. See the difference? Trying to do this, it's backwards again. You guys see the difference in those barbs? How much larger that silver one is than the chartreuse? Okay. So that tears your jig up a lot more than that will. All right. Now, those barbs will still, because it's dual barbed, those barbs will hold that jig on there just as well. Because if you guys know, the main reason, well, not main reason, but the big plus to a bonehead jig is the density of the body. The density of the body is firm, and they're very, very durable. They're a lot firmer than it's the plastic they're made out of. The tails are still just as flimsy. You've got just as much action out of a stump bug as you do any other bait on the market. But the body of the stump bug has a density to it that is second to none, to be honest with you. And it's still, obviously, you can tell it's still squishy, but it only compresses so much, and then you're done. I mean, I can't get my fingers to touch each other in that body, okay? There's other baits out there. If you squeeze them like that, you're going to touch your fingers together. So you can see those tails. I mean, those tails are just as flimsy as any other bait, right? But when you run that jig through that body, it is going, I mean, there's a lot of times you can't do this with wet fingers. I mean, it is tough to run that jig head through there if you have wet fingers a lot of times. All right. That jig head will stay in that bait. I can catch 40 or 50 or 60 fish, and it will not tear up that jig. Okay. I can keep catching fish. You can take this on and off. You can pull this jig on and off as many times as you want. It's not going to be as aggressive on the inside of the bait. So you can continue to put it on and off, and it'll still hold. That's the reason I prefer the double cross jig head. Okay. I hope that answers your question. I'm sure it does. That was a long drawn out answer, but I always like to explain to you guys why I like things. So I could just go, there you go, Jason. That's what I use. Next question. And you're going to be like, well, why do you like them? What's so special about those? Well, I like to tell you guys. Billy says, I have never understood why companies do that with good products. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. I get it. They said, I was told that nationally, because it's not just about East Tennessee, but nationally it wasn't a very good seller. So they just continued it, which is, hey, it's a business. At the end of the day, it's all about the business, and you got to do what's best for the business. So I get it. Jimmy says, I'm in. Yep. So Josh Sanders says it, I emailed them to ask if they would bring it back. They said it wasn't a good seller from a national standpoint and wasn't worth it from a business standpoint. So it's a business, they got to do what's best for the business. Heidi, Heidi says, I bought some of those double barb jig heads after you recommended them. What do you think, Heidi? Have you used them? Do you like them? Tell us a little bit. Ashley says, I'm thinking about biting the live scope bullet. As far as transducer poles go, what's the pros cons of the homemade PVC pole versus the fishing specialties pole other than price? The homemade pole is heavier. The homemade pole is harder to deploy and stow. The fishing specialties pole, again, is lighter, easier to stow and deploy. And the fishing specialties pole, the wire for your $1,500 transducer runs up through the pole. So if you're, fishing standing timber, or you're fishing in dock, or if you're fishing something where the pole's over the side of the boat and you brush up against a dock, or you brush up against a tree or something, or bridge piling, or whatever it is that you brushed up against, you don't have to worry about it cutting a wire. That means a lot to me. Again, that's the fishing specialties pole. It goes up through the I just got a text message. That is interesting. That might work. Anyway. That would actually be good for all you guys. But I can't give that away right yet, but maybe. Maybe we'll. Anyway, the fishing specialties pole is actually a very good pole for, obviously it's more money. It's a couple $100 more, but it's worth it, in my opinion. And I liked my PVC pole. The PVC pole that I had and I used on my videos, I really liked it. It worked. It served a purpose. It did what it needed to do. But the fishing specialties pole just steps it up a notch. Scott Pace said, sorry for being late. What's going on? Not much, Scott. Thank you for joining us. Blake's gone. See you later, Blake. Let's see. Heidi says she hadn't used the jig heads yet. She'll let us know when she tries them. So, the text message that I just received was intriguing. Without giving a whole bunch away, we're going to make a run at trying to get some pumpkin and chartreuse stump bucks. So I'll let you guys know if it works. I'll get on the phone and see if I can't get some. But anyway, we'll make a run at it and see. Would you guys buy them if we had some? I mean, if I had a bunch, would you buy them? Maybe. Yes, no, maybe so. How many would you buy if you had an opportunity? If you guys had an opportunity to buy some pumpkin and chartreuse stump bugs, would you buy 1 pack, 10 packs, 20 packs, 4 packs? What do you think? Assuming that they're what's the stump bugs? $2.99 a pack, something like that. Of course, you can get 10% off, 15% off. Robert says yes. Heidi says yes. Billy says yes. Josh says 10 packs. Daryl says yes. Robert says 5. Ashley says I'd buy some. I'll tell you what, I'd buy some. I'd have 3 pegs full of them back here, without a shadow of a doubt. I'd fill all those pegs up with them, to be honest with you. If I knew I could get them and I wasn't going to be able to get them but one time, I'd get them. Dakota, what is your home lake? Well, Dakota, that's a very good question. My home lake is, well, I'm I guess if Dakota, if you just want to know what lake I'm closest to, it's probably a split between Tellico and Fort Loudon. I do not fish Fort Loudon a whole lot. I fish Tellico a lot more than I fish Loudon. I do fish Loudon because I am president of East Tennessee Crappie Club, and we fish a tournament every month from September through March or April. Is it March or April? I can't remember my own schedule. I made it. I don't remember it. Anyway, I think it's April. So anyway, September through April, we fish a tournament a month, and we fish every lake from Cherokee down to Douglas to Melton Hill, Watts Bar, Fort Loudon, Tellico, and Chickamauga. So I'm all over the place, and I'm all over the place every month. So I don't necessarily consider myself having a home lake. I think, but again, to answer your question, the closest one to me would be Tellico. And because it's closest to me, that's the one I probably fish the most. But again, I don't consider that my home lake. I don't consider having a home lake, to be honest with you. I move around too much to say I have a home lake. But anyway, Rusty, you still hadn't answered my daggum question if you talked to Scott Bunch or not. Because I'm thinking that because the only person I told that I caught a 241, 242 is Scott Bunch. You ain't answered my question. I know the answer to it already because he's the only person I told about that. And you hadn't answered my question yet, sir, because I told him I had a 10.5-pound bag on Douglas and I had a 241, and you haven't answered that question. You're dodging it. I don't dodge your questions. Why are you dodging my questions, man? What's going on with you? Just saying. Come on now. Come on. Come on with it. That's funny. Rusty says he'd buy $50 worth. Matthew says yes. Jared says I'd take 20. If Jimmy orders 20, I'll order 21, Dr. Jack says. That's funny. Rusty, mouth, is that a zipper? I can't, it's little on my screen. That's a mouth that's zipped shut. You talk to him. I know you did. I'm going to call him tomorrow. I'm going to say, don't be telling Rusty all my secrets, man. Billy, have you ever used the Ozark Trail marker buoys from Walmart? I've seen some folks complain about Bass Pro buoys. They said that they have went to a lighter material. So I have not used the Ozark Trail marker buoys. I have used the Bass Pro buoys. Yes, they have went to a lighter material. Yes, I had a couple green buoys that I bought some time back, and I loaned them to my fishing partner, and I never got them back, and I'm upset about it a little bit. Not much. They're just marker buoys, but a little bit. Then maybe a little bit. Because they were the thick, good ones, and I can't find those anymore either. So marker buoys, I will say this. I prefer the H-shaped buoy over the round barbell buoy, just for the simple fact the round barbell buoy takes forever to reel up. And I prefer the H buoy 10-1. But yes, they are lighter material. And yes, some of them leak and they still do their job, but they're more expensive now too. There's a lot of times with live scope now that I don't even throw a marker buoy out. So anyway, Rusty says, Billy, tie an old crescent wrench on the buoy and it will work better. I had to do it to mine. So let me give you guys, I said it once before, I need to show it to you guys. One thing I did to my buoys to get them to spin, there's no worse feeling than going over a brush pile with a bunch of fish on it and throwing a marker buoy out and that joker not spinning. I'm sure you guys have probably had that happen to you, especially with the round barbell buoys. So one thing I did to alleviate that, take you a water bottle, cut about 2 inches of the bottom of the water bottle off, okay? Just cut the bottle, cut it around. Take you a sod staple. If you don't know what a sod staple is, you can get them anywhere. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at Lowe's, Home Depot. You can get them at any of your landscaping stores. It's just it's a yard staple is what it is. Sod staple. They use them to put down felt in your flower beds, to staple those down. Just looks like a big staple, right? Take you a sod staple, get you a pair of pliers, and at the bottom of that staple, bend it so it's an L shape at the bottom. Comes down, staple comes down and turns out, as an L shape. Put that staple in that 2 inches of water bottle and get you some Quickcrete. Mix you up some Quickcrete. Fill that bottom of that bottle with 2 inches of concrete. Tie that line to a staple. You chunk that joker over the side of the boat. Let me tell you, it's going to spin. If it don't spin, it's going to the bottom of the lake. Your buoy and all. So it'll spin. Trust me, it'll spin. I have lost a few that way too because I had a knot in my line, didn't know it. I guess when I reeled it up or when it was sitting in the boat or something, it got tangled. But I'd chunk one out and it goes, and just sinks the bottom. So I've lost a few that way too, but they will spin. I'll show you guys that. I'll do a video on that and show you guys how I do those. They're actually really handy. They really are. So anyway, Scott says Weast Lake is starting to heat up. I would assume so. It's shallower. It's probably getting pretty good down there. Dustin Shepard said, I'll definitely buy 20 packs. Phone went dead. Lots of laughs. That's pretty good. All right, guys. We've been on about an hour and a half. I think I'm going to call it this evening. Cut it a little shorter than we normally do. I'm at the bottom of our feed now, so I'll probably see a couple more things come through before we head out. If I do, I'll answer those, but I think we're going to call it a night. I appreciate all you guys for joining. I appreciate y'all for being here every Wednesday night with me and talking crappie. But I've had a long, long day. Started early and it hadn't stopped. I hadn't sat down yet. So Ashley says he puts a 10-ounce weight on his H buoys. Those dudes will create a wake when they spin so fast. Yeah, you put the concrete out there, it kerplunk. Now, people are going to say, does that scare fish? No. I've actually experimented with that. I've got over a brush pile with live scope and taken that concrete buoy and thrown it right over top of a brush pile. I mean, like you can watch the limbs move as it goes down through a tree and it does not spook fish. Now, are fish going to stay under it and get hit in the head? No, they'll kind of, disperse from where it's going down. But once it goes down to the bottom, those fish are still there. They won't run away from the brush pile. They may move and then settle, but they'll stay there. It won't spook them. So if you're wondering if that'll spook them, it will not. Now, if the fish is in 2 foot of water and you throw it out over top of it, yeah, probably going to freak it out. But in 15, 20 foot of water, it just seems to, they just move out of the way and go about their business. Heidi says, thank you for another great live. Have a great week. You too, Heidi. I appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a great week. And Robert says, thanks for talking with us tonight. I enjoyed it. Well, I enjoyed it too, Robert. I always enjoy getting on here and talking crappie with you guys, cutting up a little bit and making fun of Chris. He's not on here anymore, is he? Well, I'll let it rest tonight. I won't get on him too hard, but anyway, we won't get on Chris too bad. But Chris went gator hunting. I saw that video. If you guys hadn't seen it, go check it out. Got a gator hunt video. But anyway, I appreciate all y'all for being here. I really do. If you hadn't checked out the Wired for Crappie website, www.wiredforcrappie.com, we've got some shirts and things for sale on there. They're not the limited edition stuff that we did, but we do have Wired for Crappie merchandise on there and going to have more on there. The hoodies came in, so I'm going to be putting hoodies on the website. The hoodies are limited. I only have about 3 in each size, maybe 4 in each size. So as soon as those hoodies go on www.wiredforcrappie.com, They're probably going to go pretty quick because I don't have very many of them. Hoodies are expensive. So I wanted to see if I could sell any first before I invested in a whole lot of inventory. But I do have about 3 in each size. They're really great. I think. Well, I had them on I had one on in my video last week. So if you hadn't seen the hoodies, check out the video. Obviously, it's gray heathered gray hoodie with the Wired for Crappie logo on it. They're smoking hot. To be honest with you, I love them. So anyway, they keep you hot and they look hot. So go check those out when they get on the website. Go check out the website. And I appreciate you guys for joining. And we'll catch you on the next video this weekend. And we'll also catch you next week on the live. So if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, or anything like that, hit me up. info@wiredforcrappie.com is the email. info@wiredforcrappie.com. So if you guys have anything or want to add anything, please shoot me an email. And I appreciate you guys. I really do. I hope everybody has a good week. God bless.